Hey, good Friday morning, my friends. We made it to Friday. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. This is the MLive Morning Weather Update. I'm not sure on YouTube if you can hit the share button, but if you can hit the share button, I watch it on the YouTube app to see your comments like windy Cadillac this morning and windy Ludington. So if you can, hit the share button. All right, let's get on into it. Wind, we'll talk about that. I actually don't have that in a frame just yet, but we'll get it. We'll talk about some showers. We'll talk about some cool air. We'll talk about quite a warm up on the way starting next week. My job is kind of always to be one step ahead of what you know, so I'm the one that's telling you what you should know in weather. All right, so radar. We have the cold front through, and a few showers in the thumb down through the Flint area, dying off. Some showers in northwest lower Michigan, secondary cold front, but generally a mostly to entirely dry day. The farther south you are, the drier it will be, and we'll get into the wind here in just a second. By the way, I don't anticipate that the wind is really going to be anything too crazy. It looks like most areas have gusts of about 35 miles an hour in the next few hours. Maybe toward the Saginaw Bay, we're going to get that effect where the bay water is warm and then it sucks in the cooler air behind it. I wrote about this a week or two ago that I feel like Saginaw Bay is one of, if not the most weather sensitive water bodies in the country, and I've talked to a lot of folks that agree with me. So, radar forecast shows not really a whole lot of activity going on in the southern half of Michigan today. I would not rule out a 10-15 minute shower, but this is the radar forecast of 5 this afternoon, 6, 7, even northern lower Michigan, just kind of spotty. But if you're in a lake effect band of rain, you could have more showers than not showers. Lisa Collins, will it be gorgeous tomorrow? I'll let you decide on what is gorgeous. It should be mostly dry. Now, here is the radar forecast from a model that goes farther out into the future. So this is this afternoon. Get that picture in your mind. South of Cadillac, dry. Northern third of lower, let's call it, a smattering of showers. And in the UP, more shower activity because you're already into the colder air. Now, overnight tonight, an area of light rain moves across northern lower Michigan. Kind of an odd look to me, but it's been showing up. Okay, Lisa Collins in Holly. Yeah, tomorrow should be dry in Holly. Let's go through. Here's tomorrow afternoon. So northern lower Michigan, some showers. Tomorrow afternoon, speckles of showers anywhere as we build instability. That means the air is not where it wants to be, so it moves. So in other words, as the colder air moves in aloft and the warm air is at the surface, the warm air is buoyant and rises and turns into spotty showers. And then it transitions to southwestern Michigan lake effect rainfall for Saturday night into Sunday. But if you're in Ann Arbor, if you're in Detroit, if you're in Lansing, Jackson, Flint, you're probably just about dry the entire weekend. If you're in Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo, you might have a couple of 15-minute showers. And then if you're north, Traverse City northward, you could certainly have quite a bit of shower activity that doesn't really show on the models, but it shows on me experience. So this is the total average rainfall through the weekend. And let me show you to tomorrow morning. Okay, so Traverse City northward, you're looking a quarter to half inch. UP, you're looking a half inch to an inch in a lot of places. Kalamazoo to Flint southward, you're looking dry through tomorrow morning. And then when we go into Sunday, the cooler air moves in and the showers shift a little south. And you see that telltale sign of lake effect showers coming in off the southwest, southern part of Lake Michigan. But again, I wouldn't call it real wet until you get toward the lake. And if you're south and east of that, you're probably mostly dry. So we're going to talk now. Oh, let me just go back here for a second and give you a look at the wind. Bear with me a second here. There's a lot of folks are talking about it. So here's the wind gust forecast. And we're actually getting the peak winds now through noon. This is 11 o'clock and noon. And like I said, some 40-mile-an-hour gusts possible there. Here's noon. So 40-mile-an-hour gusts, Bay City, Saginaw, Flint, Owasso, maybe Lansing, maybe Oakland County. Winds starting to come down on the west side of the state at that point, but remaining breezy, definitely a breezy day. And as we go into the second half of the afternoon, it turns windier in Ann Arbor and the Detroit area. Gusts 35 to maybe 40 miles an hour. And as we go to after sunset, the winds start to come down. Still breezy in the north, Traverse City northward. Gusts to 30. And we go through the night. The winds continue to come down a little bit. This is tomorrow morning. Still breezy. These are gusts. So, you're still going to have 20-mile-an-hour gusts during the day tomorrow. That's what happens when the colder air comes in over the warmer Great Lakes. It stimulates the rainfall. Okay, now we're going to talk. The next move in weather is toward warmer. So this is the upper airflow. This is 15,000 feet up. The black lines are the wind flow. The wind blows parallel to these black lines, and the colors show if the atmosphere is compressed and lower than what it normally is at this time, meaning colder, or is it expanded. So right now, obviously, we have a cold upper low pressure system, and that dominates our weather at the surface. There's a little disturbance coming through tonight. You see that? There's another one swinging through Saturday night. You see that lobe around this low pressure center? And then it starts to consolidate, weaken, and rapidly move northward. Now we're into Wednesday and Thursday. And you see the hump? That's opposite of an upper level storm. That's upper level warmth. And we get back into warmer air. This is Saturday. And then this is Sunday. And it flattens out. But what you will notice in the big picture is that there is no much cooler than normal weather. Now we go out to September 20th. So what I would say is we've kind of used up our first cold blast, if you will, by Monday. And we might not see something come back like that until early October. So there is no frost threat anywhere in sight. Today we're going to be 70 in Detroit and 69 in Ann Arbor. And then as you move northward, it's a little cooler, 66 Flint, 65 Saginaw. A little cooler on the west side of the state, Grand Rapids, you're 61. Then you go northward, and I'm using Clare as the, hey, what happened to our temperatures? Because about Clare, it drops into the 50s for highs, and that is all the way through Cadillac and the whole Traverse City area and all of northern lower Michigan. So it's a sweatshirt day when you got temperatures in the 50s and a wind of 20 to 30 miles an hour gusts. Mike Light, any rain tomorrow in East Lansing for tailgating? I would say probably not. If it's rain, it's brief. It's a hundredth or two. Now, here's Sunday. So here's Saturday. It's cool, 60s and 50s. Here's Sunday. Maybe tack on a couple of degrees of warmth. And then here's Monday. We start the warming trend, upper 60s, Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo and Flint and Saginaw and Ann Arbor and Detroit. Traverse City back up to the low 60s. Tuesday, 70s, Grand Rapids to Flint, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland. Wednesday, 80s, low 80s, Saginaw southward. Low 70s still in the north. Next Thursday, next Friday, next Saturday, Sunday. And, this model wants to continue to show 90-degree weather. That is possible at this time of the year, very rare. It does happen. It has happened in the last 5 years. And remember, this model gets kind of eccentric, but I think what it says is that, we do have some warmer temperatures. Hey, humor me for a second. Let me go grab something here. We don't have to talk about frost, but I do want to show you this. Climate Prediction Center says that the 6 to 10 day forecast early next week will be starting to warm up and fairly dry. That does look like the case. You're going to have to water your gardens, or a great time to seed the lawn. You're going to have to water it too, because Mother Nature is not going to provide that. And this is the 8 to 14 day next week into the weekend, and that goes warmer than normal. And one thing I want to check for you too here. Remember, there's a real key concept in meteorology and in the data, and that is an ensemble of a model, or an ensemble of many models. And what that means is, we discovered long ago that, you've got this model, and here's the best set of starting circumstances and the best set of equations. And these are big equations, folks. These are not just... I was laughing when they had the COVID model and the variables they put into it. And there was like 5 variables. And in some of these weather models, you can have 100 variables or more. So ensemble, I'm not going to get off track. So here's why they came up with this deterministic run. I call it the single best run, but that's probably a misnomer because it's only one run. But then they tweak it 49 times on, say, the European model and average them all together. So when we get out into the distance, we like the ensemble because I just showed you the deterministic. It says 90s in about 10 days out. Let's see what the ensemble of those says. And if they lean toward, like yesterday, building warmer than normal, then you kind of believe it. So bear with me just a second while I go grab it here. Hopefully I can find it pretty quickly. Yes. All right. Let's go to Michigan. And let's go to the ensemble off of the European. Let's see. And let's make sure we have the ensemble, and we do. And let's just go out into next week. So here is Wednesday. And here is Thursday's high temperatures. Looks like some sort of backdoor cold front maybe into the northeast part of the state. Here's Friday. Here is Saturday. Here is Sunday. That's interesting to me, that an ensemble would have an extreme forecast. So it could happen. This is an ensemble. Remember, this is 50 tweaks, and it's showing 90s. Now, it can still be off, but that would be quite bizarre. Maybe something's going on with this model. But I think the point is that, summer's not done. Certainly 70s and 80s. Do we touch 90 again? I'm kind of skeptical. based on the upper air pattern and what's going on, but it's happened quite often in the last decade. So there you go. Don't put the shorts away just yet. Don't put the boat away just because this weekend was cool. And get the sprinkler on any grass seed that you've planted because Mother Nature is not going to do it for you. You could even wait. I would say if we are going to have these 90s, you could even wait to plant your grass seed. On the calendar, September 5th is normally the perfect time. But you got to look at the weather pattern. And if it's going to be dry and you're going to fight keeping your grass seed damp and moist to germinate, I'd maybe wait until we see what's going on next week and see if the heat breaks. And if we do get to 90s, then the soil warms up again, and then you'll have a good window after that to get grass seed going. So it just really, in my mind, depends on whether you can provide adequate, often light moisture to grass seed in the face of what looks to be pretty hot weather pattern coming up. Hey, thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Have yourselves a great weekend. Bye.